Breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
With breaking news right now at noon, crews in Wake County are responding to a deadly house fire. The new information we've learned in the last 15 minutes. Plus.
And it already feels like 109 here in the Triangle. We'll talk about our extreme heat warning and the first tropical storm of the season in the Atlantic.
And banning shrimp trawling, the new bill that could impact fishermen and the latest push to stop it.
In the last 15 minutes, we have learned at least one person was killed in a Wake County house fire. We'll get to that breaking news for you in just a moment. First up, though, this extreme heat warning is in effect now for the next 2 days. This map shows all the area currently under that warning. Good afternoon to you. I'm Jeff Hogan.
And I'm Michelle McConaughey. Thanks for joining us. Each day will bring dangerous heat conditions outside. It's why we've declared today and tomorrow a WRAL Weather Alert Day. Meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner and the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how many days in a row we're going to have this dangerous heat, Elizabeth.
So definitely today and tomorrow, both will be an extreme heat warning. And then after that, we may transition back one step to a heat advisory, but that could last all the way through the weekend. This heat wave is not going anywhere anytime soon. We'll be seeing a heat index 100 to 115 across our viewing area for the most part. Down here in the Sandhills for Moore County and Hope County, 104 to 109. Also dangerous. Don't just take for granted that things are going to be fine down there. It already feels like 109 in Durham and Raleigh as well as Goldsboro. The heat index is there on the right side. Feels like 108 in Fayetteville, 111 in Clinton, 104 in Southern Pines, and 106 already in South Hill and Rocky Mount. So it is already very hot out there, and it will remain dangerously hot through the afternoon. We're taking a look down through Fayetteville Street from our Jimmy V camera. It is 96 degrees right now with a dew point of 75. And of course, that makes it feel more than 10 degrees warmer than the actual temperature. This is a look at our heat index. Don't think that, once you get home in the evening around dinner time, that it's going to be any better or any safer. 106 at 7 o'clock, at 8 o'clock, 102. As a matter of fact, we don't even see temperatures feeling like 80s until we get to around 1 a.m. So keep that in mind. Our high this afternoon, 102. That will break the previous record of 100. We tied the record at 100 yesterday. The first tropical storm of the season is Andrea. It's 1,200 miles west of the Azores. And of course, that's over closer to Europe. It's moving northeast at 17 miles per hour with winds at 38 miles per hour. Makes it a tropical storm. Take a look at the path. It will be around for less than 24 hours. It dissipates by 8 a.m. tomorrow, and it will be well offshore. So no threat to land, but that is our A storm. Well, check that box.
Thanks, Elizabeth. And as our weather team tracks the temperatures, you can follow along on the newly redesigned WRAL weather app. It is free to download and use. Make sure to turn on push notifications so you can get all important weather notifications sent right to your home screen.
Breaking news right now. We've just learned new information about a deadly house fire in Wake County. Sky 5 is over that scene. It's right near the intersection of 1010 Road and Rand Road near Garner. WRL's Carly Haynes is also live at that scene for us. Carly.
And we learned just within the past 15 minutes that 3 people were inside the home and all 3 of them have died. Now, this was a massive scene with multiple agencies responding. A lot of them have since cleared out, but you can tell how many people were here by how many remain. Also on the side of that house, I don't know if you're able to see that broken window. That is just some of the damage that we're seeing from this fire. Sky 5 had been watching the scene over us for over an hour. You get an idea of how massive the spread is of this scene. The call came in around 9:40 this morning, and we don't know what the demographics are of the victims, the ages, whether they were family members. Garner's interim fire chief said that is all still being investigated.
After the fire, our mindset transitions to our people. So we will be conducting some peer assessment to make sure our staff's okay, as well as anybody else that was on scene here today. And, our heart goes out to the victims as well.
Now, we asked whether foul play could have been involved in this. They said they could not comment on this at this time. It's still being investigated, the cause. We also don't know just how much damage came to that house, whether the house is a total loss at this point. We're working to get that information for you, and we'll bring it to you as soon as we can. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
And Durham police are investigating the death of a 4-year-old. Police believe the child was killed in an accidental shooting. This happened around 9 o'clock last night on North Briggs Avenue. WRAL's Monica Casey is live in Durham. Monica, what a heartbreaking story.
Yeah, 4 people were shot in Durham last night, and this little boy was one of them. Durham police say this shooting happened on North Briggs Avenue here in East Durham, and they say this was accidental. They say that little boy shot himself with a firearm that was unsecured inside the home. We spoke with a neighbor here on scene last night who was nearby when all of this happened.
Oh my God, oh my God, you know. No is all I could say is no. And then I walked up and the mom had enough people around her that I just grabbed the baby girl and just held on to her because she was screaming.
Now, that little boy died at the hospital from his injuries. As of now, no one has been charged in this situation. Live in Durham, Monica Casey, WRAL News.
2 people were in the hospital with serious gunshot wounds after a shooting in Durham this morning. It happened before 2:30 this morning. Officers found a man and a woman shot on East Umstead Street. They were both taken to the hospital with critical injuries. Officers were on that scene for nearly 5 hours. We're working to find out if somebody has been arrested for the shooting.
Commercial fishermen. Okay, we're going to move on.
Price of a Wake County school meal would go up next year under a proposal set for a vote today. School board will consider raising the price of breakfast and lunch by 25 cents per meal. It would be the 4th price increase in the past 4 years. They expect to need $3 million more next year. You can find out more and follow our coverage all day today at the education section of WRAL.com. They expect to need, like we said, $3 million more, as you can see that story following on WRAL.com later today.
Now in the WRAL Live Center, we want to get you the latest update on the situation that's happening in between Iran and Israel. The on-again, off-again ceasefire is apparently on again as we take a live look at Tel Aviv this noon hour. Before leaving for NATO summit this morning, President Trump had strong words for Israel and Iran. He was especially upset with Israel for violating the truce. Israel struck a radar site north of Tehran hours after a ceasefire was due to take effect. Now, according to the Prime Minister's office, Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel refrained from conducting any further strikes after he spoke to President Trump earlier today. Again, this ceasefire appears to be on again. We're waiting to see exactly what's going to happen in the next few hours. We'll, of course, be following this story right here in this noon hour and bringing any updates in the WRAL Live Center.
All right, thank you, Ken. Commercial fishermen and their supporters converged on Raleigh this morning to protest a bill they say would kill their industry. Sky 5 flew over that scene. The proposal would close off Pamlico Sound to shrimp trawling. Supporters say it would be a win for the environment. WRAL's Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the Legislative Building with the latest. Laura.
It's been a while since we've seen crowds as big as they were down here this morning. It's quieted down a little bit right now, but you can still see some of those shrimp ban T-shirts behind me. More than 1,000 people made the trip up here from the coast today to urge state lawmakers not to pass a ban on inshore trawling in North Carolina. We saw fishermen and women, seafood processors, restaurant owners, boat welders, truckers, local officials, everyone saying this would be an economic disaster for some of the state's poorest counties. For hours, seafood trucks circled the legislature, honking loudly. Outside the building, protesters brought boxes of fresh shrimp right off the boat and a plea for state lawmakers to not end what they say has been a way of life for generations at the coast. The bill passed by the Senate last week would ban shrimping on Pamlico Sound and waters near the coast. Shrimpers say that's where 3/4 of their catch comes from. Representative Keith Kidwell from Carteret County says it would be the end of commercial fishing in this state.
Are we going to shut down the people who go to work every day making an honest living because some branch of the government finally decides in some slimy backroom deal that they don't want to do this anymore? Well, by God, down east, we didn't ask them what they want to do.
Supporters of the bill point out that surrounding states already don't allow trawling in inshore waters, and they say trawling disturbs fish hatcheries, and banning it would help to bring back critically low stocks of fish like flounder and croaker. Critics of the bill in both parties disagree. They say the science is not conclusive. Legislators actually commissioned a study on this issue. It's due to be released here in the next couple of weeks, and that has critics of this bill asking what the hurry is to get this ban passed before it shows up. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
We've learned Grant Hill will join NBC Sports NBA coverage as an analyst. The former Duke basketball player and Basketball Hall of Fame inductee will take on the role this fall. This is video of Hill giving the commencement address earlier this year at Duke University. Hill has an 18-season NBA career and worked in several basketball television roles. And a bridge dedication for a fallen state trooper. The NC-36 Veterans Parkway Bridge over Interstate 40 was named after State Trooper A.J. Stocks. Trooper Stocks was hit and killed in September of 2008 after being hit by a truck. He was responding to a crash at the time in Wake County. The ceremony was held at the Cleveland Fire Department in Clayton this morning.
Next at noon, we're going to ask the meteorologists how rare this heat index is for our area.
Also, saving on your cell service, how to do it without sacrificing coverage.
Plus, stuck in this heat on train tracks, the Amtrak trouble for people trapped underground during this heat wave.
Our new news continues here in the WRAL Live Center with news about new ownership for Crabtree Valley Mall. The Masaryk company out of Santa Monica, California, reportedly bought the mall for $290 million today. That was announced earlier today. Masaryk is a leading owner and operator and developer of major retail properties. Company executives say the plan is to implement a strategic investment into Crabtree Valley Mall, totaling about $60 million. So the idea is that you can expect a new and improved shopping experience at Crabtree Valley Mall. We'll continue to follow this story and let you know how it develops moving forward.
All right, thank you, Ken. Some lawmakers in Washington are trying to limit President Donald Trump from taking more action against Iran without congressional approval. The U.S. Senate is expected to vote this week on a bipartisan resolution put forth by Democratic Senator Tim Kaine. This bill, which would serve as a symbolic rebuke, needs several Republicans to join Democrats to reach the 51-vote threshold. Meanwhile, in the House, Democrats are reportedly putting forth a measure that would order Trump to end U.S. involvement in Iran.
Also, the Trump administration cannot stop Harvard from welcoming international students to its campus. A federal judge indefinitely blocked the administration's attempt to stop the university from accepting international students. The Trump administration accused Harvard of not properly vetting incoming scholars from other countries.
The Department of Homeland Security is granting federal funds to help Florida build an immigration center. Alligator Alcatraz will hold detainees awaiting deportation. The facility is expected to be built on an abandoned airfield in the Everglades. Secretary Kristi Noem says the funding will come from FEMA's Shelter and Services Program. It allocates funding to cities who take in recently released migrants and asylum seekers.
Democratic lawmakers in Washington are gathering to observe the 3-year anniversary of the overturning of Roe versus Wade. Senate Democrats will be holding a shadow hearing on abortion rights and reproductive health care. This allows the lawmakers to hold a public forum without seeking approval from Republican leaders in the Senate. President Trump said he would veto a federal abortion ban and leave the issues to the states. Most of our area is under an extreme heat warning the next 2 days. Meteorologist Chris Michaels looked back at decades of data to see how rare a heat index of 112 degrees is in our area.
There's summer heat, and then there's the more intense summer heat, and we're definitely falling under that latter category there. Today, looking at the heat index peaking between about 108 and 112 for most of the area. So we went back and looked at the last 80 years of data in the triangle. 8 of those years saw a peak heat index of 112 or above. All of those have come since 1999. On average, the peak heat index in the triangle is 106 to 107. The record is higher than 115, and we're forecasting in between the two. That's why the National Weather Service has an extreme heat warning in effect until 8 p.m. Wednesday. But let's not just focus on the triangle. If you go farther to the north, on average since 2000, the peak heat index is 100 to 105. In the Sandhills, it's 110 to 115. So this is one of the very few days out of the year where you really need to take extra precautions because of the heat. More heat alerts may be issued later this week.
Yeah.
That's for darn sure.
Yes. We were talking to Elizabeth and Chris all morning long about this heat, and over again, they keep saying it's dangerous. It really is dangerous. It's not just, oh, it's hot outside. It's fine. It's not. You really have to be careful.
When it's 88 degrees at 1 in the morning, Elizabeth, you have no chance.
Yeah, and trying to get the word out about that is challenging. I mean, even my kid yesterday was like, I'm going to go out skateboarding. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. I mean, we have a long summer in North Carolina. It tends to start to get hot sometimes in May. It's hot in June, July, and August. And so you can't just necessarily stop your life all the time. But on a day like this and tomorrow and for much of this week, you really do. You really need to change what your normal plans, your normal routine is, because this truly is dangerous heat. We don't often see extreme heat warnings. We'll go, years without seeing them. We don't see them every year. Heat index 100 to 115 is what we're expecting across most of our viewing area. Our Sandhills, two of our Sandhills counties, Moore and Hoke County, are under a heat advisory. 104 to 109 is what it will feel like there. Still puts you in the danger zone. Right now, it feels like 109 in Durham and Raleigh. It feels like 111 in Clinton, 108 in Goldsboro, 106 Rocky Mount, 104 in Southern Pines, 108 in Fayetteville. And we still have at least 4 hours where the temperature will continue to climb. We'll hit 4 o'clock. That's usually our hottest time of the day. And then it will gradually, and I mean very gradually, start to taper off. Not in time for you to get home from work and go for a run or mow the grass or anything like that. As Jeff said, we don't get into the 80s really until it feels like 80s until about midnight or 1 a.m. So a heat index at 112, as Chris was saying, is something that we've only seen 8 different years, and all of those have been since 1999. Our weather alert day extends through tomorrow, and it may extend later in the week as well as we continue to see these high heat indices. We take a live look at RDU right now. Very hazy out there and puffy cumulus clouds. There's enough moisture out there for these puffy clouds, but not enough for there to be any rain coming out of them today. But tomorrow, yes. But I'll tell you why it's still not likely to cool us off coming up. It's 96 with a dew point of 75. That's a very high number. It means it's extremely moist in the atmosphere, lots of moisture. 95 Fayetteville, 95 Rocky Mount. So we're looking at 96 in Apex, 95 Holly Springs, 93 at Knightdale. So it's a very hot day. And of course, when you figure in the heat index, even hotter. We'll likely top out at 102 with the actual temperature in Raleigh, 103 Durham, 101 in Fayetteville. That's all going to end up breaking records. So let's talk about this big heat dome. We have this heat dome sitting over us, big high pressure system sink, and the air compresses and warms, and it just sits here. We take it all the way to Saturday and Sunday. That high just doesn't go anywhere, and it sits here and just continues to get hotter and hotter and hotter and hotter. So weather alert day today and tomorrow. Tomorrow may feel like 111, and then Thursday and Friday, potentially 106. Saturday, drop down to 103. The criteria usually for the Weather Service is going to be right around 105. So anything from 105 to 109 is going to be a heat advisory. So we continue with the heat index at 100 plus for today and tomorrow. More heat advisories are likely, says the Weather Service, as we get into Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. 100, the record for today will probably be at 102. Tomorrow, the record's 99, and we have a forecast of 100. So we could break records the next couple of days. Looking ahead to tomorrow, it is also an extreme heat warning day. And then from 4 to midnight, we may end up with some thunderstorms. Right now, it's a level 2 risk. And we're going to walk you through that. You can see Thursday, a potential chance for thunderstorms. And we may see that again Sunday and Monday. We'll talk about our rain chances for this week coming up.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. Red versus blue states. Who has the higher crime rates? Today on WRAL News at 4, PolitiFact checks California Governor Gavin Newsom's claims.
And scorching temperatures like these in a sweltering car, not really how you want to start your day. Today on WRAL News at 5, 500 Sites Keely Arthur shows you the fast, surprising trick to cool your car down even before that iced coffee has a chance to melt. And cut the costs. Many of us are overpaying hundreds of dollars each year on our phone bill. how you can save without losing quality or coverage.
And buy now, pay later. The flexible pay option will now play a bigger factor on your finances. The new decision that could affect your credit score.
And this just into the WRAL Live Center. The State Board of Elections taking action to resolve a Trump administration lawsuit. So here's what this is. Starting next month, 200,000 North Carolina voters will be contacted by the state to ask to prove their identity. State leaders say it should end the federal government's lawsuit that claims these voters might not be who they say they are. Now, we should note there's no proof of any voter fraud occurring, but the same claims in Trump's lawsuit were also made by former state Supreme Court candidate Jefferson Griffin in his unsuccessful attempt to overturn the 2024 election results. You can read more about today's Board of Elections actions in the NC Capital section of WRAL.com.
If you think your cell phone bill is too high, you might be right. 5 on your side's Keely Arthur explains how you can save up to $500 a year on phone service without sacrificing coverage or reliability.
We are all looking for ways to save money right now, and this might be a great place to start. You can get similar service for less money, and the key is often to go with a smaller carrier.
The big three wireless networks, Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile, dominate the wireless market, but smaller providers called Mobile Virtual Network Operators, or MVNOs, can charge less for service since they rent space on the same networks built and maintained by the big three.
U.S. Mobile, Consumer Cellular, and Ting top our ratings, beating out the big guys on value and customer support.
To find the best deal for you, check your bill or your phone's settings to find out how much data you use each month. You may be paying for more than you actually need.
Smaller companies typically offer more options, including lower data plans, and some even let you add on data as needed.
And to keep your current number, remember to activate your new phone before canceling the old one. Keely Arthur, 5 on your side.
A lawsuit that could transform how and where real estate listings are shared online is headed to court. Compass claims Zillow's website engages in anti-competitive practices to dominate digital home listings. The lawsuit centers on a new rule from Zillow that Compass claims would make it harder, if not impossible, for home sellers to list their property outside of Zillow.
Buy now, pay later loans will now affect Americans' credit scores. Credit score provider FICO says it'll start incorporating data from buy now, pay later programs into some of its credit score reports. The company is expanding its models to include that data because the service is becoming more popular among consumers. FICO says the new credit scores with buy now, pay later data will provide a more accurate evaluation of consumers' credit standing.
Target plans to keep some back-to-school item prices the same as last year's. Customers will see similar deals to 2024, like a list of 20 must-have supplies for under $20 and a backpack for just $5. Discounts will also be offered to students and teachers. Shoppers can also find deals from July 6th through the 12th during the retailer's annual Target Circle Week event.
North Carolina made the list as one of the best states for a road trip. That's according to a new study by Wallet Hub. The study compared all 50 states across several factors like costs, safety, and fun activities. North Carolina came in at number 9. The worst 5 states are Montana, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, and Delaware.
Shot in 4K ultra high definition. Your number one source for local news. WRAL News. Coverage you can count on.
We have a rare extreme heat warning in effect today.
Now, that heat index is already feeling like triple digits across, I would say most, but I want to say all of our viewing area right now. It feels like meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner in the WRAL Severe Weather Center with a look at how many days in a row we may have this dangerous heat.
Yeah, we're going to see it today, tomorrow, and most likely into the weekend. It may end up being the hottest today and tomorrow, but still in the danger zone all the way through the weekend. This is a look at what it feels like outside right now. The actual temperature is on the left and the heat index is on the right. We we were really surprised at 8 o'clock this morning how fast these temperatures started to climb. So it feels like 109 in the Triangle. It feels like 100 in Roxborough, 109 South Hill, 104 Southern Pines, 113 in Clinton, and 108 in Goldsboro. So definitely very hot out there. So our extreme heat warning continues today and tomorrow with the heat index up to 115, and then Moore and Hope County in the heat index 104 to 109. And even though that's one level down, it is still a dangerous heat out there. This is a look at our hour-by-hour heat index. Around 4 o'clock, we could hit 112, but of course we're at 109 now, and we'll continue to see a triple-digit heat index all the way through 8 p.m. So you can't get home at 5 or 6 and think, oh, it's going to feel much more comfortable when I get home. No, it really isn't. Looking ahead to tomorrow, we have a level 2 risk for severe storms. It's still going to be very hot, of course, but I'll show you what time those storms may start to pop up. Coming up.
Thanks, Elizabeth. We are staying on top of breaking news. This noon, 3 people are dead after a house fire in Garner.
WRAL's Carly Haynes is live at the scene with what we know right now. Carly.
And we were talking about that heat. Keep in mind that fire crews were having to fight this fire in that heat. We've learned that 3 people were inside the home at the time, and all 3 have died. Now, I want to show you what we're looking at right now. There were a lot of crews on scene. They have since started to clear out. Both directions of 1010 Road has since reopened. But also, if you can see that window right there, that's some of the fire damage that we're seeing to the home. And then just the spread of first responders that still remain on scene with that caution tape that's up as well. Sky 5 had been watching the scene for us for more than an hour today. And you can get an idea of just how many agencies responded, from Garner Fire to Wake County Sheriff's Office to Wake County EMS, Fire Services. The call came in around 9:40 this morning, and Garner Fire Department said they responded within 5 minutes of that initial call. As far as the 3 victims who were inside the home, we don't know the demographics at this time, so we can't confirm their ages. We can't confirm if they were related to one another. We are working to get that information for you, but we know this is still actively being investigated, and that includes the cause. We have specifically asked whether foul play was involved in this, asking whether there's a criminal investigation, and Garner Fire Department said they cannot confirm that at this point, so we're working to get answers for you on that as well. Carly Haynes, WRAL News, live in Wake County.
The WRAL Live Center, just during this newscast, we learned that a major construction software company putting down its flag here in the Raleigh area. State officials announcing just in the last hour, Build Ops plans to open a new hub in the city and create up to 291 jobs by 2029. The company makes software that helps commercial contractors work more efficiently. The company already has hubs in Toronto and Los Angeles. Commerce officials approved an incentive package worth up to $2.8 million this morning. We'll, of course, have more on this story coming up in the news starting at 4 right here on WRAL.
All right, thanks, Ken. Cancer rates are rising in young adults, and doctors here in North Carolina are racing to figure out why. A brand new WRAL documentary, Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer in NC, investigates why this is happening. 1 in 5 colorectal cancer cases now occur in people younger than 55. That's according to the American Cancer Society. More young people are also getting diagnosed with breast and uterine cancers.
Doesn't matter how old you are, doesn't matter how healthy you are.
This is a random process that can happen to any of us.
What can we do to move forward? Because I don't want to die. So what do we need to do?
We'll look at why doctors and researchers believe the food we eat could be a big factor in why this is happening and what's being done to save lives. Diagnosis Young, the new face of cancer in NC, airs Thursday at 7:30 on WRAL or WRAL's YouTube page.
Dozens of people on this Amtrak train are safe now after it got stuck underground during this heat wave. This is video you see here of those people on that Baltimore, Maryland train. They were trapped for more than an hour without air conditioning or electricity. Tara Lynch talked with passengers after they made it to their final destination.
They're still trying to get the motor going, but if they cannot get it going, they're going to do a train transfer.
Shortly after leaving Baltimore Penn Station, the Amtrak Northeast Regional 94 train slowly came to a halt in a tunnel. Passengers say this began at 3:40 Monday afternoon, and quickly the train began to heat up.
Probably 5 minutes after leaving Baltimore Station, the train completely lost power. We were in a dark tunnel, no power, no lights.
We had, emergency lights on, but being stuck in that tunnel, it got hot really fast. It was so bad it was hard to breathe.
I was in the cafe car, which was apparently like the coolest one, and it was still hot there. And I didn't realize it was hotter other places till people were all coming there for water, and people were saying that other people were maybe even passing out.
Laura Evans tells us water and snacks were passed out after nearly 30 minutes underground.
Each person has to come up and get their own bottle of water. So there was a woman who ran up to the cafe car and she said, there's an elderly lady who tried to get up to come and get water, but she fell. And she was saying, can I get a water bottle for her?
This wasn't the first time the train lost power either. Passengers who got on in D.C. said the train was hot and didn't have air conditioning. Destiny Thompson says the train lost power and stopped for nearly 40 minutes between Fredericksburg, Virginia and Washington, D.C.
You would think that they would have let us go probably the first time it lost power for the first 30 to 40 minutes, but no, they kept us on. Nobody was really communicating much of anything. And then we sat on the train stuck in a tunnel for over an hour in complete blazing heat.
Once the train was pulled back to Baltimore Penn, passengers say they had to fend for themselves and find any train going north because the train that was sent for them was already full.
There was just no direction. It felt like the blind leading the blind out on the platform. They haven't even offered refunds.
I'll never make this mistake again, and you'll never catch me riding the train in the summer.
Amtrak says passengers were provided train service to their final destination, and the 94 train is back up and running on a 4-hour delay. We still have not gotten any word on what went wrong on board.
Some type of locomotive malfunction is what Amtrak said. That was Tara Lynch reporting. What a horror story that was.
It really is. Wow. Well, fun in the sun can cost you and your family a pretty penny. We have a few ways parents can save this summer.
And a city along our coast has a bit of an alligator problem. How many gators have been captured and relocated so far this season? More than 7 million people have Alzheimer's disease in the United States.
Now, a new blood test could help with early diagnosis. The new test is for adults over the age of 55 who are showing signs of the disease. Symptoms include memory loss and decline of other abilities like being able to use logic and language. Doctors say early diagnosis improves the odds of delaying or stopping progression of symptoms.
We can use these blood tests to help differentiate conditions, because often when we see patients in the clinic, we're not sure if they have Alzheimer's disease or if their memory problems are due to something else. It could be strokes, could be other diseases such as Parkinson's disease. So these blood tests help us in differentiating what the underlying cause of the disease is.
The blood test could also speed up the process of finding participants for clinical trials, which would lead to quicker development of potential medications.
Jobs at risk. AI is shaking up the job market. The warning from business leaders and how it could reshape the workforce.
Plus, child care savings. Parents expected to spend more while their kids are out of school. Next, the 4 ways you can save on child care this summer. As artificial intelligence continues to progress, concerns are growing about the potential it could have on entry-level jobs. In recent weeks, a few of Silicon Valley's top leaders have warned that AI is coming for people's jobs and fast. Reporter Michael Yoshida explains what you should know if you're worried AI may be coming for your job.
As the artificial intelligence boom continues to accelerate, some industry insiders, including the CEO of one of the world's leading artificial intelligence labs, are ringing the warning bell.
Compared to previous technology changes, I'm a little bit more worried about the labor impact simply because it's happening so fast that, yes, people will adapt, but they may not adapt fast enough.
Experts are split on just how quickly and drastically AI will upend the job market. Still, impacts are being felt.
Entry-level jobs, that first rung on the career ladder, are breaking down a bit.
LinkedIn's Anish Raman says it's one of the most challenging job markets for young people in decades.
The knowledge economy that we have been in for the last half century, it's on the way out.
If you're worried AI is coming for your job, Rahman says focus on non-technical skills, what he calls the 5 C's: curiosity, compassion, courage, creativity, and communication. Also, figure out and hone in on what makes you unique. That's your edge. And remember, learning doesn't stop when you graduate. Keep building your knowledge base and understanding of new technologies.
Our data at LinkedIn shows that 70% of the average skills for the average job will have changed by 2030.
Educators are embracing these changes too. The dean of Tulane's business school saying its curriculum is expanding to fit this new business environment.
The education is going to be more experiential. They are going to apply the AI techniques in a new way of putting together business processes.
In Washington, I'm Michael Yoshida reporting.
School's out for summer, and while it means fun in the sun for kids, it can also be expensive for parents as they juggle childcare needs. Year-round childcare costs in the last 5 years have gone up almost 30%, according to a recent survey from Childcare Aware America. Last year, the average price for childcare was more than $13,000 for the year. Summers can be particularly expensive for parents.
Parents are having to juggle their kids being out of school. And now they're not in just after school care. They're needing care all day long.
There are a few ways parents can save. You can lean on family and friends for help. Many camps offer scholarships. Many public libraries offer free drop-off programs. You can just check out some of those programs at your local YMCA.
You know what some of those YMCAs have? Pools.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you want today.
It'd be great. It would be great no matter where you are. Maybe a shaded pool.
Yes, or something inside. I mean, it's so hot out there already, Elizabeth.
Yeah, some of the Ys around here have indoor pools, and my kids took swim lessons there. And I tell you what, that water is cold. I mean, maybe too cold, even on a day like today. So I was looking for a camera where there were maybe people walking around in the heat. And of course, right now, as we take a live look at Chapel Hill, there's nobody. But when I first pulled this up, there were a whole bunch of people walking around in their shorts and T-shirts, hopefully just going from one place to another pretty quickly because it is just miserable feeling outside and dangerous. Of course, we do have the extreme heat warning, our heat index between 110 and 115 this afternoon. And that's for most of our viewing area. Of course, back here in Moore County and Hope County, it's a heat advisory, which is still, it puts us in the danger zone. It feels like 104 in Southern Pines right now, 111 in Clinton, 109 in Raleigh and Durham, 109 in South Hill, and 99 up in Roxborough. So just take it easy outside. You know, yes, we do have long, hot summers in North Carolina, but at some point on and off, it gets into the danger zone, and that's exactly where we are. Weather alert day today and tomorrow, potentially 112 in the middle of the afternoon today and 111 tomorrow. So something very similar. Thursday and Friday could be around 106, and if so, that would tend to have the Weather Service issue a heat advisory for those days. Saturday, earlier this morning, it kind of dropped back to 103, so we'll see. 105 is typically the threshold at which the Weather Service will put us under a heat advisory. Look at this intense heat. You see this dark orange area? This is a big area of high pressure. We call it a heat dome. It's just sitting here. We have sinking air that compresses and warms. And the longer this sits here and just, takes on the sun's energy day after day after day, it just gets hotter and hotter. Finally, we're going to see it moving out, but I don't know, it could be sometime next week before that happens. So, a week from now, maybe. Feeling like 112 this afternoon, but look at this. We don't get out of the triple digits in terms of the heat index until maybe like 9 or 10 o'clock. So it's really going to be a hot day. Here's what happens next. We have a low pressure system that kind of slides in and undercuts the heat dome a little bit. It's not going to drop the heat at all, but it may bring us the potential for some scattered showers and thunderstorms. We do have a level 2 risk for most of the viewing area for tomorrow. The biggest threat would be wind damage. I'm not likely to have hail. It's so hot out there. It's not looking like a tornado threat really either. So it would be wind damage if we see it. This is lunchtime tomorrow, and we'll roll it on out to around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's when we begin to see a few cells pop up, and then they're just on and off through the evening, all the way up until around midnight. There's not really one part of the viewing area that's favored over another. Anybody could see some of these storms popping up, and any of those could end up with some wind damage. We look ahead to Thursday. It's a level 1 risk for Thursday. That would mean maybe just an isolated storm or two that could produce severe storms. Notice on Thursday, it's really just an isolated chance of storms at all, 20%, and then for tomorrow, it's a 40% chance. So we keep that isolated potential really all the way into the weekend, a 30% chance on Sunday and Monday. But we really don't have any good break in the heat. 96 on Friday, it's still going to feel like triple digits, and then the temperatures really start to climb again a little bit by Monday.
All right, thanks, Elizabeth. A scaly surprise. A city on the coast is seeing a record amount of gators. Next, a look at officers' latest catch.
Also, here's a look at your winning Powerball numbers. 5, 25, 42, 44, 65. The Powerball is 20. The multiplier is 3. We wrap things up this noon with a look at a few of the headlines we're following for you today. 3 people were killed in a Wake County fire. It happened at a home right off 1010 Road this morning. The Garner Fire Chief says the first call about the fire came in at 9:38. When fire crews got there, they found 3 people dead inside. Several agencies are investigating. There's no word about the cause of the fire at this time.
A 4-year-old accidentally shot themselves with an unsecured gun. It happened at 9 o'clock last night on North Briggs Avenue in Durham. A woman working at a store nearby says people came running over saying a child got shot. The woman says she held the boy's sister while they waited for EMS to arrive. Police say the investigation is ongoing. No charges have been filed at this time.
Hundreds of people are gathered at the state legislative building right now to protest a bill they say would kill the shrimping industry. A proposed bill would close off Pamlico Sound to shrimp trawling. Shrimpers say that is where 3/4 of their catch comes from. Supporters of the bill point out that surrounding states don't allow trawling in inshore waters. Critics of the bill in both parties disagree, saying the science is inconclusive.
And covering Wake County, a special recognition for a legendary Wake County theater teacher. The Jimmy Awards in New York honored Coco Thornton last night. Thornton is one of 2 recipients of this year's Inspiring Teacher Award. She was the longtime director and theater teacher at Enloe High School in Raleigh. The Jimmy Awards recognizes outstanding performances in high school musical theater from across the country. Congratulations to her. Well, a city on the coast is dealing with record-breaking numbers of alligators.
Yeah, Southport police are called after someone discovered a 7-foot alligator in their backyard yesterday morning. According to officers, the gator was safely captured and released. Earlier this month, though, the city reported 20 alligators have been captured and relocated this alligator season. That is more than doubled in years past.
All right.
Big numbers.
Yeah.
Let's get to something a little more cuddly for our pet of the day. Okay, Piper, 43-pound adult beagle with cool shades and heart full of love. Piper is house and crate trained. She gets along well with other dogs, never passes up the chance to sneak a treat. Piper also loves leisurely walks, and you can learn more about Piper by visiting trybeagles.org.
Cute glasses. Adorable. Well, red versus blue states. Who has the higher crime rates? Today on WRAL News at 4, PolitiFact checks California Governor Gavin Newsom's claims. And NBC News Daily is next on WRAL. Your next local news update is in 30 minutes.
It might be a treadmill day today. Keep it inside.
Inside.
Stay safe. You can get breaking news updates anytime with our WRAL News app. Have a good one.
Stay safe with the latest WRAL Weather Alert Day info. Get up to the minute weather and traffic conditions when you get in your car. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM, in Durham 96.5 FM, and everywhere on 101.5 HD3.